Welcome to The Briefing, your weekly debrief of top news by the Arizona Republic and azcentral.com. I'm Rafael Carranza.
And I'm Laura Gersony.
Day 3 of the Republican National Convention wrapped, and Laura, we heard from the vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance. He may not be a very familiar name to a lot of people in Arizona. What can you tell us about him?
That's right. Of course, Vance is a political newcomer. He ran for Senate and won in Ohio in 2022, only 2 years ago. So for a lot of Americans, this speech was really his chance to introduce himself to a national audience. He described his background growing up in poverty in Ohio, all the way to becoming a senator just in the last election cycle. Of course, he did leave out certain parts of that history. It's been reported that in 2016, he referred to Trump as a potential America's Hitler and widely criticized the former president at the time. Now he's since walked that back, and in his speech today, he signaled that he was on board for a second Trump term, really promising to deliver for the American working class, with reference to his own background.
Absolutely, and something that we heard, he even name-checked a lot of Midwest states, so we can definitely say that this is a big play on the part of Trump and the Republicans to really secure some of those votes in the Midwest, especially those key swing states like Michigan and Wisconsin. But of course, there's also digging a little deeper into Vance and Trump as well. There also is an interesting connection to our own elections in Arizona. What is it, Laura?
That's exactly right. So on top of being a historic event, Vance's nomination as vice president also adds intrigue to one of the hottest congressional races here in Arizona, and that's in the 8th Congressional District, which represents much of the West Valley in the Phoenix metro area. President Trump has endorsed Abe Hamadeh, a former Arizona Attorney General candidate, and J.D. Vance has endorsed a rival, Blake Masters, a venture capitalist. So that puts them on different sides of this race, although we should note that Blake Masters did travel to Milwaukee for the convention and posted several photos on social media of him hanging out with the members of Trump world. So clearly he still has ties to the former president, although he does not have the golden ticket of his endorsement this time around.
And, that election is just mere 2 weeks away. So in just a matter of days, essentially, we'll find out who will win that primary and likely, will be the next congressman for that congressional district. But the night also featured a big topic on foreign policy. That was a very big focus that we heard. Make America strong again. That was really the emphasis. And one of the most emotional nights of the moment that we saw throughout the night was when you had the Gold Star families of the 13 service members that were killed during the evacuation of the Kabul airport in Afghanistan, essentially giving their support to Trump and criticizing Biden and a lot of his policies, asking for greater transparency, saying that the president wouldn't even say their names. So in a very emotional moment, you had one of, or two of the parents of one of the service members killed essentially recite all 13 names, and then we heard the entire arena recite all of their names as well. So that's something that definitely, I think, got a lot of people emotional, and I think everybody was standing here in the arena the whole time that these parents were, the Gold Star parents, were up on stage. There was also a lot of talk that we heard about projecting military power and having Trump be a strong leader, essentially to deter America's enemies from inciting any wars or any other turmoil around the world stage. And then we also heard from the family members, the parents of a hostage that was taken by Hamas on the October 7th attack in Israel, was taken into Gaza, essentially, calling for the release of all hostages, including all of the Americans that were taken into Gaza. And we heard that chant repeated throughout the entire arena as well to bring them home. But next ahead, we have day 4. That's going to be the main highlight of this convention. Donald Trump is going to be giving his acceptance speech. What do you make about Trump himself, and how did you see him throughout these last 3 days here at the arena?
It's interesting. I would describe his presence as understated. Several times he has almost teased the audience by coming into the convention center here and just sitting in the stands surrounded by his allies, not saying a word. So there's a huge buildup of anticipation, I would say. The excitement is palpable around here in Milwaukee, and we'll see what he has to say tomorrow evening.
And it's notable, like, what we do know so far about the speech is that, even Trump himself has said that, he has rewritten the speech completely that he was originally going to give. But after Saturday's assassination attempt, he decided to go in a completely different route. And so we'll have to wait and see, what that's going to look like. But stay tuned to azcentral.com for the latest and to follow more about Trump's acceptance speech on day 4 of the Republican National Convention here from Milwaukee.